everybody want to say this man was for the culture, but it's like you want to disregard the fact that this man, even just the video clip that we have all seen, was willing to drag a black woman across the floor. You want to dismiss that? I can't rock with you. Well, welcome back in, everyone. This is Black Girls Talking TV, where we bring the group chat to life and discuss all your favorite TV shows. Today, we will be recapping and discussing the new documentary on Netflix, The Reckoning, about Sean Diddy Combs. I am Victoria. I am one of your hosts, and I'm a psychologist.
And I'm Kamaria. I am an attorney and a pop culture writer. We do want to just say, give everyone a warning, a trigger warning, because it's a heavy documentary. There's, abuse, violence, sensitive topics. So just wanted to let you know that is going to be some of what is discussed here in this. But overall, we're going to just kind of break it down. I think we have a good combination between, me being a lawyer and you being a psychologist to kind of discuss this, because it's a lot. So what overall thoughts do you have? Because I will say mine, but I'm just like, this was a lot. It was very heavy, especially at the end.
Yeah. It was all of it. Every episode felt really, really heavy. I watched the first one and then I had to take a break. I watched the second one and then I felt like a lot of just disbelief and shock. And also grief. The second episode really made me sad. That one was really focused on the whole Biggie and Pac thing, which we're gonna get into. And by the fourth, I just walked away thinking wow, the culture was robbed. The culture was straight up robbed, not only of people who had so much potential and just ability to move our culture forward, but also just I feel like we were duped, a little bit, just duped. And I know this is not some of this information isn't new, but it's just the way this documentary was put together, which I think it was well put together. It's all of these little pieces that you just couldn't necessarily connect the dots to. This story feels complete.
Yeah,
it feels like this was a completion of a lot of things that were just kind of in the air. You're just oh, okay, it's that, or it's this, or it's that. It's
this painted,
this was it.
Yeah, I agree. It painted a very clean line. Now, of course, it's not beyond a reasonable doubt, right? But I have always, call me naive or whatever, but I've always been someone who, I guess, I drank the Kool-Aid like most people. I heard people used to make videos. There was a comedian I used to follow. He used to always talk about Diddy. He used to talk about why all your artists one hit wonders, everybody they struggling but you. And he used to go in on him and just talk about how he was just so horrible. But I was just this seems like a lot of hateration. It's it just felt like theories, right? People were just 1 + 1 = 3, but it's no, they were saying 1 + 2. You just didn't see the 2. You get what I'm saying? You thought it was 1 + 1, but it's 2 there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot. Episodes 3 and 4 were the heaviest for me, really, because of the SA and the Cassie of it all. Because I will say, watching episode 1 and 2, it felt sad. It felt culturally sad. But also, I think that as a society, we have grieved Tupac, we have grieved Biggie, and we've had an opportunity to do that. So it felt also the mystery of it being demystified just a little bit, and when we start getting to the SA and these other these power dynamics, it was just kind of wow, you saw the Danity Kane and the Aubrey, it just felt wow, this person is really, they're just drunk off power and they continue to harm people, you know what I mean? So we'll get into some of it a little bit later, but overall, like I said, it was heavy for me, and the beginning half of it felt more like a mystery being unraveled, and the second half felt dang, this is like just ongoing crimes that just haven't really
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
accounted for. And,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, just like around these themes of like black men in these very high places ending up in these situations. And like these crazy numbers were thrown out. Like, there's no, like, how can somebody have like SA like over 100 people? And it's like this,
Yeah.
just like somebody can have sex with 100 people, somebody can have SA'd every last one of them, and they felt like the odds of that were so small.
Really. And that's
So
go ahead.
yeah. And I mean, this person was a male, and so I think like just based off of like research and things, I do think that there are some men, just based on like either how you're brought up, how you see your mother treated, how much corn you're watching, things like that, it can make it difficult for you to view certain things as SA, right? A lot of people are switching it now to these victims, now saying they are willing participants instead of noticing, no, look at these patterns. Like, look at what's happening here. Like, why do you feel like it is now on them? And so we'll get into all of that too. But yeah, definitely like a whoa, like it's a lot. Like you said, drunk on power. Just drunk on power.
And then one of the things I want to say before, because I know we're going to get into like the patterns of it all, because that's something that you can see. And people, even like you made the TikTok about like there's some patterns going on. And even in the later episodes, because I know you were only at episode 1 at that point, other people started talking about the patterns. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, this is a thing. But the perception of Sean Combs it's just so interesting, even getting down to that jury and the jurors talking about how like when she was talking about the kidnapping, I was like, y'all didn't believe her? It's like this perception that everyone has had. And I remember, like, I've heard like the story, the Keefe D story and stuff like that. And I think Keefe D, I saw an article maybe a couple years back, whatever, when he started naming that it was Diddy. I was like, it was in one ear and out the other. I was like, now he's saying Diddy, and I never read behind the headlines. But it's like this stuff like this, people saying things and then it being just dismissed. And I'm not saying that we are to blame. I'm just saying how this veil of like, no, it couldn't, it would, wow, this just seems so outlandish that you just don't believe it. And it's like, I saw that in that jury when they're talking about like, I just like the kidnapping. I just like, it's like, we're in an age of like doing things that are so outlandish and keeping on doing that. Like, people are doing that. Like, from the highest of highest places in this country to the lowest of whatever, people are just, they're not being embarrassed or having any moral compass about the things they're doing. They're just getting up and being bolder and brushing themselves off.
It's idolized.
Yeah, it's idolized.
It's idolized. It's romanticized now. Like, the bigger the better. I mean, it's through every avenue. It's in food. It's in music. It's in everything. I mean, that's why people are literally dipping their cheeseburgers in dough and frying it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's in everything, that it's all about just being this over the top where you feel like
you lost me on the food. I was like, what's happening with the food?
Oh, I'm just saying, like, that's just like something that you don't necessarily think about, but that is just like another avenue where it's like the extreme is idolized, romanticized. You see these people just scarfing down food. I know that's kind of like off topic, but on theme. You know what I'm saying? Like, this idea of things being over the top, and because it's over the top, it's okay.
Yeah, I guess for me, it's this element of just not allowing shame to hold you back. And I'm not trying to say that people need to have shame and just walk around shameful. I
call it the fear of God.
Yeah, this man, look, girl, because I'm like, the way he talked about and used
like, y'all
God,
fear Jesus.
The way he used and talked about God, like, it was on. It's you know, it's kind of crazy. So,
well, on that note, let's get into the themes. Because that is
the
one,
pattern.
Okay.
Yes.
The patterns. The pattern. Let's start with socially deviant behavior. that was like the first thing
Mm-hmm.
to me that was like very, very clear. That seems like it was literally rooted in him from a very young
Mm-hmm.
age. But um, I don't know who it is, but there's a quote that I've always just put in my head, but
Mm-hmm.
it's improperly socialized children become antisocial
Mm-hmm.
adults. And I think about like his
Mm-hmm.
mom and the things that were happening to him growing up, getting beaten. He was bullied. He was learning how to fight. He had a mother trying to teach him how to be a man in this very toxic masculinity way, and being over the top and the dandyism at a very young age, right? And then you got this other layer of it where your mama is taking you out doing God knows what till 3 o'clock in the morning. Then you got
But
this
letting
other
him be
layer
out is what he
where,
was. What some the report was.
oh, letting him be
Or
out.
he
Okay,
was
excuse
outside.
me.
She was like, he
And
got beatings or whatever. But it's like more the way they talked about the beatings, it's like more trauma. But yeah.
yeah, the childhood friend, the
Mm-hmm.
way he talked about it, he said they were scary to him. And then there was also this element of like there's parties, and then you and your friend are on stage dancing in front of all of these grown folks, right? So you putting on a show. And who I'm like, child, I don't even want to know what that is, because kids entertaining adults at that
It
age,
makes me
at that
think of
time.
like what is it called? Michael Jackson and them. That's what it made me think of. It made me think of like, all right, put the boys on the stage or something like that. Y'all do this. It didn't make me think of anything like, you know, where I think you're talking about. It didn't make me think of that. It made me think of like more of like Joe Jackson, like,
Yeah,
do the
it
dance,
could have
and
been
it's
that,
like
right? But
these are
this
kids.
idea of
Oh yeah,
entertaining,
for
right? Like
sure.
this idea of being like being the show, being the center of attention.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and it has led to a lot of these antisocial and deviant behaviors,
Mm-hmm.
and essentially what seems to be not diagnosing him, but he like appears based
Mm-hmm.
on the reports in this
Mm-hmm.
documentary. Like there is some personality things, and it leads in towards like this antisocial way, because he had like a complete disregard for other
Mm-hmm.
people, a complete disregard for the law,
Mm-hmm.
a complete disregard for social
Mm-hmm.
norms.
And antisocial is, if I remember correctly, when we've talked about this before, this is what psychopath used to be, or what is it?
Yeah, sociopath. Yeah,
Sociopath.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
It's
They don't call
yeah,
it that
yeah,
no
yeah.
more.
It's antisocial.
Okay.
It's basically saying like antisocial norms, not like antisocial. You don't want to have a conversation. You don't like people. Don't like being around people. Well, actually, you can't say these people don't like
Mm-hmm.
people.
Yeah.
That is true. They don't have a concern
Mm-hmm.
or regard for
Mm-hmm.
others. But yeah.
And where you like, what do you think about in terms of like the narcissism element? Do you feel like that was in there? Because like,
I mean, he had, it seemed like when he was in the hotel by himself, seemed like very low self
mm,
esteem, right? And then you also have these moments where you have like these grandiose thoughts, this grandiose sense of self, this need for admiration. Even when he was on the phone, I think that was like the intro to episode 3, and he like talk to daddy.
oh,
I
you
just
talking
put
about his
200
girlfriend?
million in the bank.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, the bank is open for me, daddy, like that. And it's a little, it's very, very just, it's
Cringy. Yeah.
cringy.
And
Yes.
one of the things that like also struck me is like, cause I just be hearing the TikTok psychologists talk about narcissism, but I don't be knowing. But one of the things they talk about is like this ability to charm. And I was like, it's so interesting that every time after everything, he's smiling, taking pictures, doing autographs. He know how to keep that front up. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And meanwhile, horrific things going on in the background. And it's like you would never think it,
Mhm.
because it's like you're presenting this charming exterior, but meanwhile, you got, stuff going on behind the scenes that is just very foul.
Yeah.
And so that kind of stuck out to me, because I was like, he just be pausing for these autographs, leaving jail, pausing for these, pictures. Like he don't get frustrated. He doesn't exhibit any sign of any of the monsterness in any of these public
Yes.
settings. And I was like, that feels
Yeah.
calculated given all that we know. You get what I'm saying? It feels calm.
Mhm.
It feels like you know what you're doing. You don't let anybody see the version that we saw of you in the elevator, or at the elevator pulling Cassie, kicking her. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's a mix. It could be that he is a mixed bag of both. I lean more
The
towards
antisocial.
um the
Mm,
antisocial because of just all the deviant
yeah,
behavior, the alcoholism, the drug
yeah.
use, the sexual
Mm,
exploitation, the physical, the essay, the violence, the bullying, the threats, the fraud. He was doing all of that. You know what I'm saying? And to the people closest to him. And then he kept getting away with it, and so he just kept repeating the
mm-hmm,
behaviors, which is literally what like the study of criminality and like a criminal mindset is. You get away with it, and you continue to do it
mm,
over and over and over again. But yes, there is still like that grandiose side of him that I think definitely also stems from his childhood and like the bullying and like needing to be this man. He grew up fatherless,
mm-hmm,
right? And so he's idolizing people who he thinks is like his father. I think they mentioned like the other major drug dealer
mm-hmm,
who would have like the parties
mm-hmm,
on the rooftop and
mm-hmm,
record
mm-hmm.
women. So he's idolizing that, and he's trying to idolize what he feels like his father was, a hustler, a gangster. I think he said something like, it solidified for me that that's what my father was, and I think he tried to become that. But
Yeah. One of the things that stuck out for me was his relationship with his sons and this focus on friendship, right? And they talked about, the Biggie relationship and how like it's like you had this element of control. You the boss. You the person who's paying his salary. You're introducing. You're his gateway into fame. You are trying to be his best friend, or they were saying like this persona of like their best friends or whatever. But they don't talk about no friends. You get what I'm saying? They don't talk about no
yeah.
friends. And one of the things that stuck out to me was how the sons are very like kids love their parents. And it felt like when I look at him, especially at that later episodes when his sons are with him, and I think about what I know about social media, how the sons and the family and the kid, they're with him, they're supporting him through court and all these other things. I think about how, that relationship for him is probably like amazing because like
Yeah.
he now finally probably has friends. You get what I'm saying? And I know it's like friends, they're his kids, but follow me. Like he's got friends and they are the perfect type of friends for somebody like him because they can do all the shit. He's got them at some parties. People said they saw Justin there, whatever. And he can do things with them that friends you do, but he's got ultimate control of them because I'm your daddy. You know what I'm saying? I am
Right.
your dad, and so there will never be a time where you are like peer to peer to me. You know what I'm saying? Where I cannot
Mhm.
rightfully check you. You get what I'm saying? There's just never a time. And so it's probably so amazing for him to have this bond with these kids because they are adults now. They can party with him. They can
Yeah.
do things with him. They can give him support. They can be the friends because I didn't hear no friendships in there except Biggie, which the other friend who was like the business partner who he allegedly iced out of the company, Kirk.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that there was something he was trying to like make it seem like they were friends or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's like, where the friends at? You know what I'm saying? Where the day ones at?
Yeah.
Where are they at?
Yeah.
And it gives
Yeah.
that they're not there. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was giving. And it's like, because how do you operate in a space like this? You know what I mean? How do you operate? But I don't know, like without people checking you
Well,
and without people, unless
yeah.
you have a bunch of yes men. You know what I'm saying? Unless you have a bunch of yes
That's
men.
what he created. He
But yes
he
men aren't friends, you know?
facilitated yeah, no, they're not friends. He wouldn't have friends. People who present with these type of issues, they don't have friends. They don't have the ability to have friendships because they don't have a regard for other
Mhm.
people. And like multiple people said in the documentary, the only person that he seemingly cared about was himself. And so it's hard to create relationships where if you're always wanting to be on the top, you can't have a peer. A peer is supposed to be equal to you. Maybe there's some areas where they're better than you or you're better than them and you guys are able to lift each other up. But he didn't want anybody next to him. He wanted to be the top. And so seemingly he created a structure that allowed him to be the person at the top. And therefore everybody had to seemingly eat out of the palms of his hands. Artists, they said the artist was broke. He was making sure he was in everybody's video and songs and things like that. So you can't have friends. I don't think he wanted friends. If it don't seem like it, and if he did, I mean, I don't know.
No, I can agree with that. One of the things that for me that stuck out was like I was like I feel bad for them kids. You know, I feel bad for the kids because like remember that part he kept saying, God told me to do nothing. God told me to do nothing. And he was like, there was a scene when he's in the bathroom with Justin and he's in the bathroom with Justin and Justin's like, saying something like, are they going to tear a black man down or something like this? It just, or he said something. I can't remember. They just want to tear you down. I can't remember what it was, but it was something to that effect. And he was like, y'all got to figure it out. You got to figure it out. Your job. And I was like, that right there. It was like in episode 3 or 4. He was like, what you gonna do about it? What that's your, and I was like, I can see the parenting style of how the control and the pressure to put something on somebody like you, that's God told me to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? You got to figure it out. And he said before in another scene, he was like, that's for y'all to figure out, Justin, da-da-da. But when he was in that bathroom and Justin was saying something to the effect of like, why was just tearing you down or something? I can't remember. But he was like, you got to figure it out. That's on you to figure out because, and it just like, it made me feel the weight of the pressure of a parent trying to put on you something that's not on them. That's your shit to clean up. But you putting this on him. And I'm like, this is the weight of like how you being parented by somebody that is just like operating like that without regard. It's like, this is your mess. You are the father. You should be cleaning this up. It's not on them. Like, this is not on them. And to use God in that way was just, it's a very odd thing. It's very odd. Very, very odd.
Yeah, the way he operated with Sean in that moment definitely made me think about like the psychology of fear and abuse and how you can use fear as a tool for control through like behavior modification, right? And so if somebody is constantly telling me like I gotta clean up their mess, I'm gonna think I'm always Molly the maid. I'm the one who gotta clean up the mess. And then if you use these other tactics, right, to drill it in my head, whether it's, I'm not saying this is what happened in this scenario, but whether it's violent threats to your family, making sure you ain't got no money so you can't go nowhere, so all I can do is answer to you, right? Like all of these things start to like tap into the fear center where now you are behaving in the exact way that the person who is demanding all these things from you wants you to behave. And yeah, it's a slippery slope because the longer you up in it, the more fear become your best friend. And now y'all doing the dance, baby. And it's hard to get out. It's hard to get out.
And that's one of the things with Cassie that I think people just don't understand. Like the fact that the juror, like if I was those jurors, I would not have been in that documentary. The old man, he ain't know. He from a different culture. He ain't know. But young homie girl, sister girl, I think you knew. You know what I'm saying? That like so because I don't think she came off well. You know what I'm saying? I don't think she came off well.
Yeah.
And so I would have just sat my butt at home and watched all of this. I would because I just wouldn't have. She's smiling through it. She's talking about, oh yeah, I saw the nod, and the nod was back from the making the Band-Aids. I'm like, how you remember a nod from back in the making the Band-Aids? Are you a Diddy fan? Like, what are you?
Giving fan,
yes.
right? It's giving fan, and you should have been dismissed. Dismissed. Drill number 105. Dismissed.
Yeah, yeah, and like the lack of believability for like the situation that Cassie was going through. I did not like the jurors' depiction of it, right? And it's unfortunate because like really what it comes down to on some level is like especially like the sex trafficking. Some of that comes down to like their believability or their whether they felt like the girls were coerced or like forced or not. And that's where all of this matters. You know what I'm saying? The psychology of fear. That's where it matters. And even when you posted the TikTok about like how we were watching it and we were going to be covering and we're going to be dropping an episode, the very first comment was, okay, Diddy, not Diddy, but 50 Cent is
terrible father.
Let's talk about his and y'all sick too, because he if you can't see that it's like, were you paid? Like, because it's giving that you're paid, because what's happening? Like, this is a horrific situation that has happened. Even what we saw with Cassie alone, that was enough to be like, okay, I believe anything about this man now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But to see what we saw in this documentary, it's like, it's even more, and it's sad. It's sad.
It's very sad.
And so like, I feel like with the fear, it's like people, they judge her, they put themselves in her shoes thinking like, oh, I wouldn't let somebody do that to me. But it's like we're all of our personal issues are set up differently. You know what I'm saying? And you may not have ever met a billionaire. Okay. Let's start there. Okay. You may not have ever met a billionaire. Okay. I don't know your history. I don't know your life, but you may not have ever met a billionaire, and you may not have ever met someone who had the facade of, this great guy, and you had to in real time, like, kind of probably gaslight yourself to be like, oh no, maybe that was just maybe this. Maybe I'm not seeing what I think I'm seeing, or feeling, or picking up on what I think I'm feeling on. So that's that. And then secondly, it's like, of the situations that a lot of people experience in their day-to-day life, they be fearful to leave a man that's cheating on them. You know what I'm saying? To leave a man that's talking to them bad. To leave a man that won't commit, that won't put a ring on it.
Some people stay and have at-home moms and feel like, I can't stay, I can't start over, I can't do this, I can't do this.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's fear of all those things in a regular ass life. And so it's a lot. It's too much judgment going on for her. It's too much. And so I that element disappointed me with the jury. But like, as a whole, like you said, it's the psychology of fear. It's like, stop putting yourself in her shoes. You're not in her circumstances. You don't know how that is.
And the thing like that fear does to your brain, it like hardwired, like it makes your amygdala, which is like the part of your brain's like alarm center, it makes it go full force. So all you're trying to do is not trigger that alarm. That's the only world that you can that you can, like, you become consumed by it. Make sure I don't do anything that pushes this person's alarm. And so that means I'm going to do whatever they tell me to do. I'm going to walk the line, and their prefrontal cortex is shut off. Mind you, the prefrontal cortex is not even fully developed until 25. Now research is saying that it's not even fully developed until you're in your 30s. And so people are giving a 19-year-old a lot of weight. Y'all, some of y'all 19-year-old, you can't get them to come in the house on time, and you talking about this 19-year-old.
She was that's so young.
She was 19 when she started with him. 19. A non-fully functioning brain, 19 years old, already under what seemed like a lot of manipulation and a lot of fear tactics. And so she participated, not willingly with a full mature mind, but with the the strip down that
Yeah.
had to occur for her to get to that point.
And the way they even talked about it in the documentary was like it didn't seem like it was as soon as I signed you, you and me, we're an item. It seemed like there was a lot of grooming, and they were saying he was still with Kim, and it just seemed like there was a lot of grooming around that and her and their relationship. And so it's just like there's just a lot. There's a lot there, and it disappoints me all the time to see people's reactions, and it's just like sometimes you just have to have
Yeah.
peace and just
Yeah.
accept
But
that
I
people
do want
think
to add
how they
another
think and not let it disrupt your spirit because it's a lot.
yeah. Yeah, I do want to add another piece about like the frontal cortex, because I think that people think like, oh, it's like this thing that just suddenly makes you mature. Like, oh, my frontal cortex is on. I'm 25. We're developed, but it's like literally your ability to like regulate your emotions, but also think ahead, make decisions, right? Plan accordingly. And so when all of that is shut down, how do you expect somebody to be like, oh, you know what? I need to get up out. I need to get up out. And in that video where she was getting slang across that floor, she didn't even fight back. That right there hurt my heart, because I felt like I saw just like small clips of it here and there on social media, and you know, in the documentary it was played over and over and over again. And so to see her just it just seemed like she was
knocked
hopeless.
out.
Like just drag. No, I think she. Oh yeah, well, you know what? Now that you say that, she might have been.
But at the same time, I can only imagine how much worse things would be or have been had she, you know, or maybe she has in past times and learned not to. It's just a lot, and so I don't think you can ever like have any type of abuse and say that someone's present voluntarily or like not coerced. I just don't, but you know, that's just me.
Yeah, agreed. And you know, it's so interesting because when you ask the people who don't believe it, it's like if this was your sister, your mother, your aunt, and they said these things, like, how would you respond?
Yeah.
If they were going up against a person like this, like, how would you respond? And another thing that stuck out to me when the Harvey, I think Harvey, is it Weinstein? When his documentary came out, I watched his, and there were, if I could recall correctly, there were women in there who also facilitated some of the activities or would have been in a position that it seems like Cassie was in. And in that documentary, wasn't nobody calling them saying y'all participated, wasn't nobody doing that. Wasn't nobody doing that. You know, everybody want to say this man was for the culture, he didn't do all of this and that, but it's like you want to disregard the fact that this man, even just the video clip that we have all seen, was willing to drag a black woman across the floor. You want to dismiss that? I can't rock with you. I can't rock with you.
Yeah. It's like there's nothing to be said after that video. There's nothing to be said.
Yeah, you can't be, absolutely not. You can't be for the culture and want to talk about all these things that Diddy seemingly has done for the culture, advance the culture, whatever. But also too, you literally see him do what he just did. Not to mention all the things that the public says he did for the culture. Everybody is coming back and saying, I actually didn't get shit. I didn't get nothing. So he really ain't do nothing but make himself rich.
Yeah, and maybe there's some music, but like, what is? I mean, music's great, yeah, but what in the grand scheme of all the things? Like, if you could go back and be like, I have the power to like wipe away everything that happened, but you lose the music. Lose the music. You know what I'm saying? It's not that it's not that strong. I mean, it's great. There's some great hits, but it's just not. We're talking about people's lives. We're talking about people's you know, like ability to have dignity within themselves. Like Joy, what was her name? Joy. Let me the lady in the beginning. Dickerson?
Yeah, Joy Dickerson. Yeah.
Like Joy Dickerson Neal. Her, like the fact that she's a 50-something-year-old woman crying about an assault that happened to her in her, you know, 20s or whenever that was. It speaks to the level of how these situations really do bring you down. You get what I'm saying? They really do affect you at a soul level, at a level that is just beyond like, oh, let me just move on. It's deep. The hurt is deep. The pain is deep.
And for a lifetime.
Yeah.
For a lifetime, people are carrying the burdens of the acts of somebody else. And as long as I have been doing therapy, like, and through the lifespan for people, right? Like when those types of situations come up, the essays and the abuse, you can feel it on them, right? Like no matter how many times they've processed, reprocessed, tried to heal, try not to allow the triggers to get to them so much, and try to regulate themselves through it, and EMDR therapy, all of these things. It's like that part of you, for a lot of people, feels like they cannot get that time in their life back. You know what I'm saying? Like it's connected to this stain that you can like try and like rub away, but like the fate of it, like it's still there.
It's damaging. This behavior. It's just it's damaging to the spirit. But yeah.
Should we get into a little bit of the Pac and Biggie situation? Like I said, I felt a lot of grief after the second episode, which just carried over into the rest of it. But I was shocked. That puffer session.
The what?
Or whatever it's called. Puffer something.
KBD. Yeah.
That, I said, boy.
Yeah.
How did 50 get his hands on that?
I mean, like I've seen a lot of documentaries on the Tupac Biggie murders, right? And like I had heard the story that Keefy D said in the proffer. I'd heard it before. I can't remember where, in my mind, I think it was like VH1 did some, I don't know.
The part about the hit, the $1 million hit?
Well, not
you said that before?
No. Not the part like that's the part that I believe. Like the Diddy piece was never something I heard until maybe like a couple years ago, and it was one of those like in one, like I said, in one ear out the other. Like I was just like, you already said that it was the Orlando Anderson guy. Like that's what I remember hearing, that it was the Orlando Anderson guy. Yeah. It was because of the same story they told in the documentary. And so when the element about Diddy that came out in the news, I also was like, I just kind of dismissed it because I was like, we already know. So seeing this now, though, the way they painted everything, the discussion about the cars, the Kirk was saying how they paid for them cars when New Harlem drivers to go across the country, and he always thought that was odd. It just, they painted a very good line. I'd love for someone in like, what was Tupac killed in Vegas? Like I'd love for the Vegas PD to kind of pick this case up and investigate a little bit more, because that element was, like you said, very sad, even if the element of him actually being the one to order or to pay is like false, it feels like you set a lot of stuff in motion, just to be honest, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, it was sad. I was shocked. I've seen a few documentaries, and I felt like most of the documentaries just felt incomplete. And so watching this one, so I'm saying like it felt like there was like a completion to
this story.
You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, definitely a sad thing. And yeah, I'm with you. I hope somebody pick up some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot to untangle and to think about in the eyes of the law, for sure. And just the way it all happened, we didn't touch on it when we were just talking about like the grandiosity and like the need for admiration, but like this idea that was painted through the documentary was he needed to, again, be at the top. And so anybody that threatened that, he was like, they gotta go in one way or another. And Pac, and then they said Biggie was supposed to have the Rolling Stone cover. Biggie was supposed to go to London. You pulled that same weekend he shot, and now he gone. It's like,
yeah, it's like a reckless disregard for the well-being and the welfare of others. That's what
it's literally why insecure people are dangerous.
Yes,
like, honestly, like. You can't live your life insecure. Everybody owes it to themselves and to like the best possible life that they can have. Allow themselves to identify who they are and sit in that. No need for validation, no need for reassurance from others. Like, you got to get that shit for yourself, honey. And for a lot of people, it can happen through, you know, spiritual journeys, religious journeys. If that helps you do that through meditative journeys, whatever. But you got to find it for yourself, because it leads to unhealthy relationships. It leads to fueling this idea of this need for control. It fuels harmful behaviors. Like, all of these things happen because of insecurities. Like, quite honestly, at the uptick level. I'm not saying, you know, basic insecurity about, oh my God, I don't like my hair today. I'm not saying that, but like, if things fester to a point, it can be this.
Yeah. And it's like you build people, because human nature, no one's going to stay down. No one's going to stay in a feeling of insecure, like feeling like I'm not enough or whatever. They're going to build their house to reach to the top in whatever way.
Yeah.
And so if they don't feel like they can get there on like a healthy ground, they gonna choose the unhealthy ground, because it's not an option to stay in the pits. You know what I'm saying? It's not an option to be down there. I have to build up myself. And so with him, it's very interesting. Like, even like the elements when they were talking about Pac, because I'm like, this one thing, look, I'm jumping, but even when they were talking about the elements of like the jealousy with Tupac on Diddy's parts, they were speaking to like that Pac was trying to have like more of a connection with Biggie and wasn't necessarily trying to have a relationship with him. That's kind of what the documentary was, the picture that was being painted. And that there was some tension in the Pac Diddy relationship because of that. And there's also maybe this feeling of loss of control of this, I don't want to say prized possession, but this cash cow of an artist. And to, at a certain point, like I wouldn't put it past Diddy to have been involved in any of these deaths. Any of them. Biggie included. You know what I'm saying? Because like, if you at the end of the day have all of these artists and your motto is rinse and repeat, like kick them out, like somehow at a certain point, somebody that's real deal true to the streets like Biggie, you're not going to be able to kick him out. You know what I'm saying? Not especially if you're making connections with somebody like Pac. Like, you're not going to be able to kick this person out. So maybe they are worth more as a not alive person. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe they are, because it's like you end that contract, you end that relationship without having to, you know, fire them, without having them potentially come back and, you know, expose you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just, it's just clean. You know what I mean? And seeing some of those things, like especially like the Sting performance for the I'll Be Missing You, I remember watching that, and it just took me back to that time period. And I think about like all of the time, we all bought it, just hook, line, and sinker. You know what I'm saying? All of us. That song felt beautiful. You know what I mean? Given the what had happened, it felt beautiful. It felt like a beautiful tribute. That moment felt beautiful. And to just see what's behind it all, and it's just like what's behind it all is ego. It's just unfortunate. It's very unfortunate.
Yeah, all of it. I mean, it made you believe that potentially Diddy had something to do with it, because it was like the events that followed. Yeah, the I'll Be Missing You tribute, but also to Kirk saying that Diddy made Biggie's estate pay for his own funeral, but you wanted this super large funeral in his honor. The taking out of the pages because Biggie had already signed his name on the contract, and so Kirk is like, yeah, he wanted me to take out pages from the middle to make it seem like, you know, nobody was getting this stuff. So it's like,
yeah,
all of this because of ego.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. and
Wow.
greed, you know what I mean? And greed. And so
Yeah.
it's really unfortunate. The Rolling Stone cover, it's all of it is just it's sad. It's sad. And I think that the documentary does a really good job of painting the direct connection. They talk about the guy Zip who was allegedly a part of the Crips, and the connection between the Crips that were in LA when they would go there, and that would, you know, essentially it seemed like give them protection,
Yeah.
and just how like that he had arranged that. Now this, I do want to talk about Andre Harrell a little bit, because there was uh one part of Keefe D's profit session, the moment where he said the hit was put out, right? And that he
Andre was in the
offered,
room.
yes, that's what he said. That's what he
Yes.
said. Now I don't know.
Yes.
But also there's some element about even the beginning of like how Andre Harrell, like he was his intern, and there's this element of like, why was he staying at your house? Like, I never had an intern stay at my house. You know what I'm saying? I don't even give him a ride home. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand what's that about. You know what I'm saying? What's that about? And so there,
Let my eyes speak on that one.
yeah, and yeah, no, and I think that it was so interesting to me, because I was like, this is an important element of like why it's so important for like Black representation matters, and Black, people in high places giving people a chance matters. But it's like it was such a squandered, sad, like the fact that this person put you on. He created a millionaire, whatever he is. I don't know if he's millionaire, billionaire, whatever. He created a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? With his access, allowing this intern into this business. You know what I mean? And that's just a separate note. Like that, it would be great if it had turned out well. But there's just something about that stood out to me, because I was just like, you created this guy. He may have gone somewhere
you were the
else.
gatekeeper.
Yeah, he might have gone somewhere else, and maybe he would have had a career, or maybe he would have just been a low level narcissist somewhere, wreaking havoc on some girl's local life, and he was like the big party promoter in that town. Who knows? But it's just horrible that the access allow for all of this, And one of the things that was actively, to me, missing from this documentary was Justin Bieber's story and Usher's story.
Yeah.
Like, because Keefe D mentioned Usher a little bit when he talked about them having his car.
Being on a car.
You know what I'm saying? And that's that thing too. It's like don't sit here and act like I mean, all of it is allegations. You have to rest, some of this rests on Keefe D's word. You know what I mean? But I have never heard him deviate when I've ever heard this story. I've never heard him deviate from the baseline of the story, and it makes just so much sense. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that was added was the who hired us.
Street credibility is strong in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, street credibility goes a long way to me.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, because they know how to be tight-lipped.
Yeah, but I mean, I will say he always talked a lot, but I also about this, but I think it was because the Orlando Anderson was dead for so long. You know what I'm saying? Like, he died 2 years after Tupac, I think it was, or a year after, or whatever. So it's like, I think that's why he felt more comfortable to speak about it. But I felt like I'd heard him speak about it for years. Like, I'm not even playing. I felt like I heard that story, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my memory's playing tricks on me, but I had heard that story. And so when the Diddy part came out, it felt like, are you lying? Because like, you already said that Orlando did it, but I never looked behind it to see that, there's what he said. He's not saying Diddy pulled the trigger. He's saying that there's this that he set the stuff in motion. And I don't think at that time I was ready to believe that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, because like
nobody was.
Yeah, it's just an interesting thing.
It's your word against her.
Yeah, and it's like I never paid attention to him that much. And even like watching this documentary, going back through like Danity Kane and then Diddy Dirty Money, I said I had forgot about a dog on Diddy Dirty Money. But I was like, the patterns, like we started off, the patterns of like you needing to be at the forefront, like this this is a raggedy little group.
Yeah. Well, I
Like,
actually want to go back to Andre
okay,
Harrell because I feel like that was also a key moment in the patterns, right? Like from what we have heard in this documentary, Diddy had a lot of people at the house. You know what I'm saying? Like what's the Lil Rod? I think it's Lil Rod. Stay with me while we're producing, while we're creating. Like I think that gave him like a blueprint. My artists stay with me. If they living with me, I don't have to worry about paying them because everything they need is being paid out by me. You know what I'm saying? When he ran to go get whatever it was that Andre needed, and Andre was like, how did you do that so fast? Like, and he was like, I ran for it. Now he teaching all his people, go walk to Brooklyn and go get my cheesecake. Like it's set up a structure for him. Like,
was you with us when we went to Junior Cheesecake? When we went to New York,
I was.
You were.
I was, and I'm sitting here like, I can't believe that man put Junior's cheesecake on like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, back in the day when you're young, you're not thinking about what's actually happening.
Yeah.
But you got these people walking from Manhattan to Brooklyn. I was young. I thought it was entertainment at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought, oh yeah, you got to get it. I guess this is how they do it in the in showbiz. But I was a kid with a low level of development in the morale. Like, I did not know.
And sometimes these things are normalized via television for you. You get what I'm saying? And they paint a picture of even him talking about like the reason why he wanted to let go Aubrey O'Day. Like, you're being promiscuous and you're just out here doing all this.
Yes.
And it's like, it's this subterfuge. It's like somebody said in the thing, a shell game. It's like you're putting on an act for what it is that is to hide what is really happening. That's what it seems like. And so it's just
because he did it on the cameras.
Yeah, and it's like and that his conversation about like media was spot on. Like, and his talking about,
I love how they opened and ended with that. I was like, this was like a perfect package. It's about controlling the narrative.
And that's why I think this is an important documentary. I was glad to see, even though it's a lot, but I was glad to see that it was #1 today on Netflix. Because yesterday when I started it, I didn't see it like as the top or whatever.
Search. I said, I don't know, where is that? Where is it? But no, it wasn't top today.
Yeah,
no, for real.
And it's because I think you have to dismantle like pedestals. Like, I love Black culture, and we on Black Girls Talkin TV, we always talking about like we pointing out race issues, we pointing out different things, but I don't even know
this goes beyond race. This goes beyond
this
race.
Is morality.
And it's morality, and at the end of the day, like I was saying earlier, what I don't like about people talking about what he has done for the culture is like the disregard for all the Black people he disregarded. Yes. What does it say about the culture when this is a Black man willing to literally do what we've already been through? Yeah. To strip you of everything, to make you a worker bee in the way that you wanted, to manipulate you, right? Like, according to what is being said in this documentary.
That's it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. And even worse when you start talking about what's the hand in Tupac's death, what's the hand in Biggie, what's the hand in these other, like, Suge Knight's, was that his friend? They were saying that that died. What's the hand in that? Yes. What's the hand in the shooting at Quad Studios? Like, what is your hand in all these things? But to continuously victimize people and women, it's just it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. And it's like these victims are Black people. Yes. I don't see no white women who
besides Audrey O'Day. She was the only one.
Right.
And she had this damn near the smallest part of the documentary.
Yeah. And I'm not sure what I'm not, look, it's it's mind-blowing to me. It's like I can't even find my
Yeah.
words. Like, this level of behavior is mind-blowing to me. And it's like the way he brought up God so much, and it's like, this is
He
not
compared
yeah,
himself to God. You put yourself on the cross. Like,
it's 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 a lot. It's a lot, and
yeah.
I don't even know what to say. I keep getting to a loss of words because this behavior is like incomprehensible to me. You know what I mean? It's like when Joy Dickerson Neal read the letter her mom wrote to his family. I said, see, that's
Yes.
the type of people that I come from. And I could tell your people
Yes.
are good people because they really thought writing a
Yes.
letter was going to touch the hearts of
Right.
somebody, because you're coming from
Yes. And
morality.
to his parents. She said, we're going to take this parent to parent. I'm
Yeah.
going to your mother
Yeah.
and what she thought was also his father.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, that touched my heart.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And to have to be the daughter, right? Like, not only experience that, but, you know, because she said she just found it recently, to find that and see the weight that your family was carrying for you. I was like, bruh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the last thing that just like all of this is deny. And
Yeah.
through all of his denial, I was looking at his like body language a lot. It was like rewinding, going back. And he's like, when he's shaking his head, like he's like, no, I didn't have anything to do with this. I promise you, this has nothing to do with me. Oh my goodness. No, I would never. Like, all the lies. Like, it's like every single time you say no, your head is shaking yes. Like, every time you say it yes, your head is shaking no. Like, I just the what do they call them? The body language people, they be on TikTok like, when you do this to me. So that's what I was looking at. And I'm like, no, y'all. His head might be telling the actual story in his words.
Really, I didn't.
It's the words.
Yeah.
They not me.
I didn't pay attention that much to the body language, but it did feel like the soul feel like it's gone, you know, from this spirit of what you're saying. And like, even the fact, like, I can't never stand a cocky man. Like, a cocky man, I think cockiness is like, it's not of God. It's not of God. You know what I mean? It's not of God, because it's like you like these planets that like they not connected to nothing. They suspending out into space and just going out, and you just end up anywhere. You get what I'm saying? You're not grounded. Ain't no gravitational force pulling you back in. And that's what he made me think of. I'd heard someone describe it like that. They were talking about like youth in these gangs and stuff like that, and how they're like separated from like this gravitational force of community and morality, and they're just these planets that just they moving on their own. You know, they're not doing nothing connected.
It's a tornado, quite honestly. Just wreck it havoc.
Yeah. And so it's unfortunate. But I do hope that this is a part of what shapes a different narrative for him, especially since we know he's gonna get out. And I do hope that, you know, this does his reputation takes a hit from this, like a huge hit, because
I don't think he can. I think if you watch it, for the people who watch it, I don't think that I would think that you can't come back from watching it.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people who are refusing to watch it because they don't want to have to face the reality of what might be like budding in their gut. But if you watch this and you are somebody who can say like, I am willing to change my mind, I don't know. And I do hope that if anything, it is the change of perception, because the fact that man had 8 lawyers, $8 million lawyers, who was going to be able to fight that? Who? I can only imagine what them courts. the jury was probably spun on top of their head. Okay.
No, that's real. That's real. Because it's always, yeah, that's real. That's real. Because speaking like as a lawyer, right? Who would be in like a courtroom from time to time, right? I spent a good amount of time in a courtroom. I didn't do criminal law, but as an attorney, this is what I would say. Like prosecutors go before the same judges. They have relationships with the clerk's office. They have, and I'm not trying to say like it's a dirty game or nothing like that. I'm not trying to say. I'm just saying that like this is just normal life. They like prosecutors see some of these judges and their clerks and things like that as often as they may see their coworkers. You get what I'm saying? So it's almost like that, like a a cordial environment because they're seeing them a lot. They're trying a lot of cases in front of them. And from my point of view, from what I've seen, prosecutors win most of their cases. Like you'll be hard pressed to find a prosecutor that has a losing percentage. Like I would bet that no prosecutor in the country like has a losing percentage of the cases. And it's not because they're that great. It's because they see a lot of the same cases, a lot of the same like sort of things. They don't have great attorneys on the other side that they're battling up against. And it's just this element of like, I got all the chips, baby. Like, you know what I'm saying? Your client may be trying to push it forward, but I got all the chips. And it's not, and so they're used to doing this with these public defenders and they're not getting tested. And so that's why when you have like the OJ trials or Trayvon Martin's trial, they came in, they hired these big fancy lawyers and them MFers, they're not, they don't do
Sharks.
You said what?
I said they're sharks.
Yeah, they're sharks, but they're not giving you what you used to. You get what I'm saying? And so a lot of times in these big cases, when these prosecutors don't win, they're not ready. They're not equipped. They're not used to winning cases at the level that with the same amount of pushback. You get what I'm saying? And so when them attorneys come in and they suited and booted, this trial was too much for me. So I was not following it tick. But the way these attorneys do is like they challenge a lot of things. They're not taking what you say. Like, oh, you say it's you the prosecution, you say you did it, prove it. Like they're typically being very much more like you gotta dot every I and cross every T. Like, I'm not giving you an inch, and they're used to being given inches from these public defenders or whoever. And I'm not trying to say public defenders are bad because there's some great ones. DC has a very good, like one of the top in the nation public defender programs, but that's not everywhere. That's not everywhere. So
yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
I can see that.
So I can see them coming in and just they're not 100% ready for them, which is unfortunate. But that speaks to a lot about our legal system. I could go on, but
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think the last thing we didn't necessarily like the theme that we didn't talk about was taking people's women, side chicks.
Oh my God,
wives, girlfriends. I'm like, boy,
ego.
And it's crazy that like even that is flipped to, oh, he a hater because he took your girl. No, brother, he has a pattern.
Yeah.
This is how he want to knock the opponent. This is
it's an ego thing. It's something. It's an ego thing. It's like it's also it's viewing women as like property or a commodity or something like that. It's like it's
a prize, something to get, an object. Yeah.
Really unfortunate. And what is the first baby mama? Misa? Is that her name?
Misa.
Mm-hmm. It was really unfortunate to hear kind of the allegations about abuse and domestic violence with Misa. You know what I'm saying? Because like
on the streets.
Yeah. Because even now, it like I remember her releasing a statement about the raid of his home, right? And of course her son was in that. And so I can, understand somebody releasing a statement, but it gave me questions like, where do you stand on all of this? Because these still stand with Diddy? Like, is that where you stand in all of this? And it just takes you back to that grooming, that sort of like conditioning and people. Cause I'm like, if you've been a victim, you would think that you would sympathize with another victim or the pursuit of justice that they're trying to have. But at the same time, there's an element of, just like we were talking about with Cassie, there's just an element of like being in it and not knowing how to get out of it, or like mentally it's playing tricks on your mind. And
I mean, we got to think about the fact that like a lot of these none of these people for real came forward until Cassie, right? And so Cassie, even though she was like physically out of it, she was mentally still in it, right? And so there is a likelihood that there are a lot of people mentally still in it that may have not been represented in this documentary or during the court case, the court proceedings, all the things, because they are mentally still in it, because abuse does a number on you, point blank period. Like,
it is interesting, like as a whole, how many people. It's like, I don't know what to make of the people who were part of it and then now are here to tell this story, right? Because it's like, in some ways they're part victim, part oppressor, like, you know what I'm saying, like Kirk. It's like
Kirk, the bodyguard,
or what's her name? The assistant, Capricorn.
Capricorn, yep, Cap.
There's elements of like, this is interesting, because you're kind of like, you're both, right? And I don't know how to view them. I do appreciate that they told their stories, and I don't have a ton of ridicule for them, but I do have thoughts on the fact that you were here and you saw things and you participated in things. Even the sex worker who was talking about how like you would come and that just like, and he saw domestic violence, and it's like, it's a tough thing to kind of like tease out.
I think too, like, going back to the fear conditioning, right? I'm thinking like, if I'm in a situation with these people say that they were in, if I see what potentially could happen to me because I saw what you did to somebody else, that right there is a fear and control tactic, right? And so you already know, okay, I need to put up and shut up. So there is a part of me that's like, okay, wow, like you participated in this and like you are ready to speak out now because you have absolutely no connection at this very moment. But like, you weren't willing to speak out then, you know? But like, I always have to then ask why. Like, why weren't you willing to speak out, right? And then when you just think about everyone saying like, oh, the money never came, it was hold on this, and then we're going to wait for this, and then this will happen. And even Craig Mack's wife talking about, so Craig went to him, asked for money, and he gave him a single $100 bill, right?
Or like
stuff like that.
I'm about to say, who was the girl that keeps you with Dawn? Who was talking about, she asked him for some, she needed a loan of $5,000 to get her a child, and then he gonna call her. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Right. And so they was probably in it and in deep, and I'm pretty sure the documentary only scratched like a surface, right? Like, it scratched what people were willing to tell. There's got to be things that people are not willing to tell, because people who were involved got their own skeletons and demons that they probably fight on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Another thing I wanted to talk about with his mom, I forgot to mention it earlier, was the moment where the basketball thing happened, and then his mom was kind of like questioning, like, it seemed like from what Kirk was saying, his mom was kind of like, what's going to happen? And called her a B.
That's what he said.
Now, based on what the childhood friend said about how he was raised, in my mind, I wrote down, is this when she felt like her son became a man?
Who knows what's going on in her mind? But at the same time, also, it's probably like for him, he the person that like once guys get that adult strength on them, like that teenage strength, it's over. It's over. Once they can throw got a little muscle, it's over. And so it's like if you the person who been abusing this person, they're not gonna be abused no more. You know what I'm saying? They probably gonna
Okay.
learn from you and abuse you in ways.
Right.
And that's not in any kind of way an excuse, because you gotta be like to be someone that young and be willing to do that to your mother. Like the rest of these women ain't we
Yeah.
ain't got no chance. You know, the woman got no chance
Yeah.
to be treated
Yeah.
with dignity and respect if you would do this to your mother. You know what I'm saying?
If it's true,
Patterns,
it was
disrespecting
definitely a
women.
budding. Yeah, it was a budding sign of disregard
Yeah.
for sure of others.
And women.
And of
And
course, yes.
yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, the basketball game. That was alarming. I didn't know about that basketball game. Granted, it was
Me
before my time.
neither. I
But the
never
fact that
heard
this
about
shit
that.
never came up, it's like these things just like wipe away in history. It's
Yeah.
like, how?
Yeah.
How does this happen?
Yeah.
Like,
And
9 people?
yeah.
Granted, I will say, like, I was trying to figure out, like, back in that time, like, what was the, like, the definition of, like, a secured event? I don't know, right? But, like, and you cannot control people necessarily, like, bum rushing a door, but, like, I'm like, was there any extension of anything to the families,
Yeah.
any of the proceeds from the event?
I don't know nothing about that, but what Kirk was saying is that he put the LLC in the mom
his
and
mama and
Kirk's
Kirk's
name
name.
because of the not wanting the
Yes.
victims to get
the families
yeah.
to come at him. That is wild.
Yeah.
Wild. Yeah. Kirk said that was like when he saw like, okay, like his
That
personality
he done switched over
is
into
changed. Yeah. It's
yeah, and it's interesting because like you said, we visit these things now with a lot of like the concerts and the venues, like you talk about. Like I think I saw a documentary on Astro World and Travis Scott and like his culpability in that. But in that documentary, I like it's like you should know there should be like your people, Live Nation, like somebody, you know, the way they explained it and broke it down in terms of the security.
I think that was a lot different.
Yeah, very different.
And a huge event. Like
yes, very different. But 9 people from a gymnasium is wild.
Yeah.
It's wild for that to happen. And so, you know, I don't know what the culpability and what the blame is in that for him, right? But I think the most important aspect, somebody has spoke about it in the documentary, is that like there's all this tragedy and he just moves on forward. And not only does he move on forward, the star rises. He was like, that's where he got famous from, is like, or that's where his first touch of fame came from that. And then it just shot from there and continued to grow. And so it's what lesson does that teach you? And I think somebody said that in a documentary. It's like that you could get away. It's not. It's like it's a little callous. It hardens your heart a little bit. It's like I am trying to preserve me and my legacy, and all this stuff that happened. It's just noise. It's just whatever. You know. It can. I can see how that sort of mentality can develop. You know, from that sort of situation. But yeah, that whole thing was wild. That was wild. I never heard of that. Never.
Yeah, crazy.
One of the things that kind of stood out to me was like somebody was saying how like he doesn't he's not, he never sees all of these situations and thinks like, oh, like, you know, what went wrong? How could I correct? How could I whatever? It was always asking, how can I get out of this? You know what I mean? Like even at the beginning, he was like, you know, he was calling it BS in the documentary. And he was just like, you know, now I got to spend money to get rid of this BS. And like, it's like you knocked somebody down, speaking about the cat, just speaking about what I saw with my own eyes. You know what I'm saying? You knock somebody down, a woman who doesn't have the same amount of strength as you, and you call in the storm that has resulted because of this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, where is the remorse?
No remorse.
Yeah, it's like it's just
None.
absent. It's not in the building at all, and that's a difficult thing to fathom in a person or whatever. And so yeah, I don't really have a ton else, but
it was so much to cover.
Yeah.
Drop in the comments what we didn't cover, because this was so multi-layered. Well done, because there's so much to talk about. So many things that you just would have never questioned, looked twice at, were revealed in this documentary. And I feel like, I'm like, 50, how long you been holding on to all of this? Because feel like this seeming a little pre-trial.
A little what?
I mean, probably it's given pre-trial. Like, he had some of this information, pre-trial, and he was just waiting for the right moment. I don't know.
I got you.
But yeah, it was heavy. Yeah. So we're gonna head on out, y'all. Let us know your thoughts on our recap. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you to all of our listeners. If you made it all the way through, this was a long one. We know, so sorry. Wherever you are, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And we will catch you for the next recap of something else, because it won't be this.
Yeah, something on a lighter note.
Yes.
And with more happiness.
Diddy chapter closed.
I know.